All right, hey everybody, welcome back to another Fallout 4 modding video. Today, we have got something a little bit different. It is another mod release by myself and Pig, but this time we're not checking out a gun. We're checking out something else. Now, it's not crazy unlike us to release something that's not a gun before. We have done it a couple of times, kinda. Most notably, we did our gambling mod, but this time we're releasing a melee weapon. That's actually a little bit more common for us because we have done a few of those. I think we just recently did the kukri, and we also had our weed whacker. Well, this one's a little bit more in-depth and a little bit more crazy. There is some fun stuff you can do with this brand new sword that is a little bit unprecedented for us. We wanted to use this opportunity to experiment and try all kinds of wacky, new, crazy stuff that we've never done anything even close to. Not only would I say that this mod has a lot of first of all times for us and our team, I would say that it has a couple of first of all times, period. Not just on Fallout 4 modding, but maybe ever. Now, that's not like some crazy thing. I'm not trying to like act like that's like a cool thing or anything. It's just there's some interesting and cool stuff that you may not have seen before. So, stay tuned because there's some fun stuff in here. We had a lot of fun with this one. So, the weapon we're talking about today is known as the Paladin Sword. This is going to be a Brotherhood of Steel faction weapon. Have we ever done a Brotherhood of Steel faction weapon before? Not really. Kind of, but like not really. Have we ever done a faction-specific melee weapon before? Definitely not. And in this case, we have something pretty new in that regard. But that's not the cool stuff. The cool stuff comes into the crazy and wacky attachments that essentially makes this one sword into a bit of a weapon pack. The main changeable part on this mod is the blade, and each blade is so significantly different from the last that they're effectively completely different weapons, and that makes this thing really, really cool. Functionally, they're all going to be one-handed swords, but the different effects and styles of them make them very, very different. I'd argue that some of these are taking entire mods worth of effects and putting them into one singular mod, which is really cool. Now, in terms of how this is going to be integrated into the game, it's going to be functionally the same as any of our guns. It is integrated into the level list, meaning you will find this out in the world on enemies, but because it is a faction-specific weapon, you are only going to find this on the Brotherhood of Steel. Additionally, there is a unique in this mod, and the way it's integrated is so freaking cool. I can't wait to tell you about it because it's unlike anything we've done before. It's an idea that I've had before, but we had never been able to make it work until now. And I think you're going to like how it's integrated, especially if you're a fan of the Brotherhood of Steel, which if you are, I think this sword is going to be a must-have. Now, unlike our other videos, there's nothing to talk about in terms of custom animations or sounds or anything like that. But of course, there are custom models and textures, all kinds of brand new stuff from this mod, as well as a bunch of attachments over at the weapons workbench. I already told you about the level-less integration, but to be a little bit more specific, this thing, like I said, will spawn on the Brotherhood of Steel. We didn't write down the level. Cut. Okay, my bad. Turns out my info was a little wrong here. Sorry. So this sword is not actually added to the enemies, it is added to vendors. So you will be able to purchase this only from Brotherhood of Steel vendors. And there is additional integration for how you as the player will obtain this besides purchasing it. If you play through the Brotherhood of Steel questline, when you become a paladin in the Brotherhood of Steel, when you reach that rank, you will be given the Paladin Sword, which is awesome. It makes sense. We have talked about integrating some of our cool uniques into the vanilla questlines, and now we have finally done that. The intention is that this weapon is sort of a reward to those of the Brotherhood of Steel who do make it to the rank of Paladin, sort of as a ceremonial sword, but also a functional one. And if you actually make it to Paladin in the Brotherhood of Steel as your character, you will be gifted one of these swords. On top of that, there is a unique that has a similar integration, but I'll save that for the section where we talk about unique spoilers, so none of you get that spoiled for you. I think that covers all of the big stuff, so let's go ahead and jump in game. We're going to be checking out every single variant of this weapon and talking about how they all differ from each other and what they do functionally, which is super cool and fun. Alright, so we're going to be taking each of these swords one step at a time here. Starting off with the most standard config, with the standard blade. This thing has a base damage of, man, it's probably not 32 because I have perks on. This is an unprofessional video, isn't it? Okay, I have like nearly no points in my melee skill. I am using the New Vegas skill system, so things aren't perfect, but it's around 30. It has a swing speed of medium, a weight of 3 pounds, and a value of 120 caps, and as you can see, it's got an interesting design. That's because the main basis of this sword is actually featured on the serrated blade, but we needed a standard blade, so this thing is going to look a little interesting. As you can see, it has some weight cut out at the top to make this thing lighter. Not always what you want at the front end of the blade like that. However, in my opinion, if we're going to be using this in power armor, having the weight more centered allows you to one-hand this thing better. And with the power force behind power armor, I think that you would be able to cut through just about anything with this, no problem. One-handing something with a nice center of gravity, I don't think you need a ton of weight at the end, especially when you have power armor backing it up. Here you get a nice look at everything as well. You get to see the cool textures on the blade, all the dings and scratches, as well as the sharpening. You can see there's like a little bit of like a belt sanded texture on it. It has a really neat hilt based on a hilt that I had seen out there in the wild, but with my own twists. The original one had an insignia on it, but I changed it to some gears like the Brotherhood insignia, and the handguard here I have made into a sort of twist on the Brotherhood logo, not exactly, but it's more so that the little serrations here pay homage to the wings that would be on the Brotherhood of Steel logo that go around the gears and the sword. And there's also a nice big cog gear here in the pommel as well. So, yeah, the word I was looking for was crossguard. I said handguard. I use guns too much. Anyways, let's talk about some variations on this weapon. Now, I'm not going to cover every attachment in this section. We will still run through the weapons workbench, but I want to cover the big ones that really transform this weapon, like the heated one. We have a really, really cool new system for doing heated weapons. Now, heated is not something too crazy or special outside of regular Fallout 4. Heated is a pretty common attachment type, but I really wanted to give credit to Pig for finding out this really cool new way to do heated effects, although that might be partially due to Ares. Ares helped us with effects on that as well. So it's definitely one of them or both of them. Either way, this thing looks super cool and it glows in a way that I like a lot. And then I designed all of the stuff that goes around it, like the heating coil, as well as the microfusion cells up at the top there that keep this thing powered. And as you can see, this thing adds a bunch of energy damage and will help you set enemies on fire. But there is something a little bit more crazy, like the laser sword blade. I love this thing so much. We wanted to do some fun attachments this time around, and so we did. This is going to be one of those firsts I was talking about. It's not the first ever laser sword. Actually, there's a couple of laser cutters, I think, out there on the Nexus, but it's definitely our first attempt at doing anything remotely this cool for Fallout 4, and I think it came out super awesome. You can see the nice electron charge pack that's powering this thing. It's going to give you some more energy damage as well, and it, I think every single time hits an enemy will set them on fire. This thing is so cool, and the effects on it are very, very nice. As you can see, maybe a better look in third person. If we get right up on it and unfreeze time, it's got two moving little laser cutters, and man, I really like how this thing looks in action. Very, very fun, and when you hit stuff with it, there's a nice little effect as well. Pretty neat. But it doesn't end there. We have another really, really cool one, which is going to be the photonic blade, which is going to look really weird in this preview menu. It looks very flat and dingy and strange, but trust me, it looks a whole lot better when we actually take this thing in game. As you can see, it is moving and glowing and transparent, and the idea for this is it's similar to the proton blades on the proton axe from Fallout New Vegas's Old World Blues DLC. We actually did come up with some sort of lore for this because Pig feels the need to justify everything we do, even when it's goofy sci-fi stuff. So imagine that this is repurposed shield tech from the Enclave after the Brotherhood defeated them, because they did have shields that look quite like this. So now we have a photonic heart light blade for this really cool power sword. This thing looks awesome, and once again, when you hit stuff, it has a fun and cool effect. I like it a lot. Those are definitely the most transformative pieces, but we have some more normal stuff as well. We can check out the weapons workbench, but first, let's talk about that unique. So go ahead and skip to where you see the weapons workbench if you don't want any spoilers. For those of you that do, let's talk about that. So here we have the unique in this mod known as Dance's Requiem, which is pretty similar to the standard blade. However, it is going to have some dog tags wrapped around it there, and it's going to give you 40% less action point cost in general. I was going to say in VATS, but I think that's in general, so which means power attacks are probably insane with this thing, which is super cool, super fun. Now, the way you get your hands on this is pretty interesting. This is where the spoiler comes in. If you progress through the Brotherhood of Steel questline, you will be posed with a choice. Again, big spoiler warning if you somehow 10 years later haven't played through this questline. You will be tasked with finding out what's going on with Paladin Dance. Is he a synth? What's going on? What's the big deal? And it's up to you to deal with him. If you decide to spare him, you will be given his own personal Paladin sword as a gift, which is pretty cool. He gives it to you personally, and then you'll get this unique. Otherwise, no unique for you, and if you already killed him and you load this save up, that is not our problem, and this game encourages replayability, so go get it this time, or something. Anyways, yeah, it's a variation on the serrated blade with some cool effects, and a really cool way to receive it, which I like a lot. We might come back and update this to add gold and maybe some different hilt colors, but until then, this is going to be the unique. Let's go ahead and check out some attachments over at the weapons workbench now. Man, I really thought we could blast through this video considering it was just a melee weapon, but here we are already over 10 minutes. Now, these are all out of order. Here's the standard blade. You saw this already. Here's the serrated blade, which will give you some bleed damage. This is the whole reason I made this sword, is because I was playing For Honor and I had a sword that looked like this, and it was kind of cool. People think we put more thought into our mods, but we really don't. Sword looked cool, I made sword. Don't overthink it. Have fun, kids. Then we have the heated blade. You saw that already. Electrified blade. That's going to be the serrated, but with more gubbins on it, and that looks cool. And it has cool spinny electrical parts when you use it. I didn't show that off in motion, but trust me, it's cool. We also have a regular electrified blade. My bad. There's two versions of that. Look at that. That's pretty cool too. Cryo blade. Talk about firsts. I don't know anybody who's done a cryo melee weapon, and I don't know if we've ever done cryo on anything. But look at that. You got a refrigerator sword now, so that's pretty sweet. We got a rigged up little cryo cell. It goes into your refrigerator tubes. It powers your refrigerator sword. Keep your food cold, kill your enemies. Moving on, we got a laser. I don't know what happened to this video. It's very late when I'm recording this. I want you to know. You ever hear the YouTubers, they say it's very late. I'm very tired. Me too. Power sword. So yeah, guys, that's the sword. If you want to pick up the sword, you could get the sword in the link down in the description for more swords. While you're down there, check me out on Patreon. You can buy my Patreon. So you can support me over there. Not for free. I was gonna say for free. Not for free. That's for people who are crazy, who want to throw me money. If you don't want to throw me money, just like the video. That helps. That's good. And you can like the mod on Nexus too. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. Click the link. He's in the description. Try out the sword. It's fun. It's a good sword. More stuff later. Mods, videos. Haven't slept today. It's late. And I hope that you sleep too. Goodbye.